It's a Saturday morning showdown here at Wilson Field. Chapman begins year 3 of the Delaney Benson era with fresh faces and redemption front of mind. Meanwhile, CMS has owned this rivalry for the past decade and fully intends to keep the trend. A sun-soaked Saturday here in Southern California as we welcome you upstairs. Nico Schweigler alongside Holden Buckley, Anna Zeminski in just one moment. And Holden, it's opening day here for this women's lacrosse team at Chapman, but they certainly have a reality check potentially incoming with CMS, who's beaten them every single time for the past 10 years.
Yeah, CMS, just an absolute freight train. These last couple seasons have yet to cede more than 2 conference losses. And oh my goodness, I mean, this CMS team just so strong from all around. 7 players with already 4 goals scored in just their first 2 games of the season. 15 players with a goal on the board. And as you see in their last game, the Athenas just absolutely dominated the Panthers in all facets right from the draw. 23 goals to Chapman 7, 33 shots on goal to Chapman Panthers 14, and 28 draw controls to Chapman's 4. You're going to see a lot of mismatches in terms of statistics this game, but one of the biggest that you'll see is the draw controls, and those draw controls led by our first key player on the CMS side, number 3, Julia Ryan. Tell me a little bit about Julia.
I mean, a preseason second-team All-American, Julia Ryan has been one of the premier players within Division III ever since arriving 3 years ago, and it's a big reason why CMS has been able to get out of many jams in the past.
Yeah, she's a D1 caliber player, setting records left and right. She tied the D3 record with 34 draw controls versus Whittier last season, and of course, first-team All-West player, and so far this season, 48 draw controls, 4 goals on 5 shots. Good effectiveness from her at the midfielder position, as well as being just an incredible draw specialist. Nico, why don't you talk to us about our second CMS key player?
Absolutely. On the attacking front, Ella Seidel comes back to Chapman where she spent her freshman season and now looking to prove a point against her former program.
Yeah, Ella Seidel spent her first season with the Panthers and absolutely broke out. 62 points for the freshman, 55 goals, a second-team All-SCIAC. At the attacker position so far for CMS, she's put up 4 goals, 3 goals in her first game. Struggled a little bit in her last game with 8 shots, only 1 goal. 10 shots on goal total for the season. Ella Seidel, just what CMS needs to clear that hump after being eliminated in the playoffs, have yet to win the SCIAC with this senior bunch, and more motivation than ever against the Panthers, a division opponent.
62 points, the most by a Chapman player in a single season ever. Meanwhile, on the flip side, for these returners, Maddie Escobar needs to work some magic in the midfield if Chapman wants to come away with a win.
Yeah, Maddie Escobar, 31 goals last season, 20 ground balls, 26 draw controls. She was a 5-sport athlete in high school, 4-time league champion as well in high school, was a USA All-American, as well as a league MVP for her team. She is a natural-born leader at that midfielder / draw specialist role. I want to see how she matches up throughout the day against Julia Ryan, who we just mentioned. She's going to be very crucial for the Panthers to really just maintain possession in this game. Moving in to our second key player, wearing number 6, Tate Scheid, the midfielder. 34 points last season, 15 caused turnovers, 33 draw controls. Another player that you're looking at in combination with Maddie Escobar to control Julia Ryan, but also we're looking for Scheid on defense. She's an anchor in the midfielder at the midfield position, and CMS 5 players with 3 goals each in their last game. Gonna look for Scheid to rein in that team. She was a 2024 leader in caused turnovers and ground balls. Absolutely critical for her to activate and continue working her magic in the midfield. Just looking at these 2 head coaches, Delaney Benson, a 15-17 record, her 3rd season as the head coach for the Panthers. She took over as an interim before the 2024 season. She's entering her 3rd year after a little bit of a sophomore slump. Her first season went 7-5 in the SCIAC, 8-6 overall, 7-2 at home. Just utter dominance at Wilson Field, and she played at D2 Fort Lewis College, which is actually just a couple minutes from my hometown in Boulder. She also played, fun fact, for the Israel national team for the World Championships in 2022 and was an assistant at Worcester prior to Chapman. Looking over at CMS's head coach Lauren her 164-56 record as head coach, her 14th season, a 2-time SCIAC Coach of the Year, 3 undefeated SCIAC seasons from 2017 to 2019. It's her 11th consecutive year as head coach. So we spent 8 years prior at D1. St. Mary's College, was a regional All-American and Conference Player of the Year in her playing time at D1 Fairfield. Nico, anything else to add?
I mean, both coaches certainly know how to come away with wins, especially on the CMS side. Some fresh faces down there for Chapman with 10 new freshmen, and for more on that, let's go down to Anna Zeminski on the sideline.
Thanks, guys. I'm Anna Zeminski, reporting right here from the sideline this morning. Now, Holden and Nico, as you guys mentioned, this is going to be a very important game for Chapman to win, as this is not only their first game of the season, but it would mean their first win against CMS in 10 years. Now, CMS has proved to be an outstanding team and a hard one to beat, as they were ranked second in the SCIAC standings last season, with Chapman being 5th. Now, I got the chance to speak with freshman Anna Barton ahead of today's game. She tells me that the upperclassmen have been very helpful, guiding the freshmen and providing them with feedback and support. She also says that CMS is a very skilled team, so Chapman is going to need to go into this game with a first half mentality, giving it 110% the whole time. That's it from me right now. I'm Anna Zeminski. Holden and Nico, back to you guys in the booth.
No doubt about that, Anna. Certainly have their work cut out for them, especially with a freshman transfer in goal and Cam Gabrian. What are you expecting from both these goalkeepers, with Gabrian and Lila Johnson on the other side for CMS?
Well, of course, we know that Chapman probably going to rotate a few goalkeepers in this one, still looking for someone to rise to the occasion and anchor that goalkeeper position. And then, of course, for CMS, just got to rely on that defense. Ceded 15 points in their last game, cannot do the same for the Panthers, and I'll toss back to Nico to send us to our commercial break.
Cam Gabrian, part of the Mexico national team with Angelina Welsh, one of the defenders for Chapman. You're going to see out there, Holden, 5 defenders for Chapman. Usually it's a 4-3-4 within women's, trying to make sure that they have enough numbers considering how good Julia Ryan has been throughout her career on these draws.
Could not agree with you more, Nico. This game kicking off in just a couple moments. And of course, you see our draw specialist, pregame star Julia Ryan. Can almost bet she'll take away those draws, especially first one of the game.
Georgia Geegan, first one for Chapman to get the tall task in the middle.
Just looking at the CMS team, they can score from literally anywhere. Like I mentioned pregame, 15 players with goals already this season, 7 with 4 or more, as the first draw goes to CMS.
No surprises there from Julia Ryan, and the Athenas on the prowl early. Whipped out for Ella Seidel, former Panther. You mentioned it in the pre-show, partner, second team All-SCIAC last year with 62 points. And that one picked off the rip from Ariana Covarrubias.
So crucial to get the ball out of CMS's hands. That's going to be a consistent thing that the Panthers can do well, especially in transition. CMS moving the ball around Chapman, great at swooping in and getting the easy pickoff.
Actually make that Zoe Stevens, who now flips it outside towards Tage Scheid, who got the cause turnover. Works its way outside for Ava Reagan, had a big freshman year as a spark plug off the bench, only 10 goals, however, last season. These Panthers playing their first game of the year after Wednesday got rained out against Redlands.
As we know, CMS pulls away very early in these games. A goal here would be absolutely electric for the Panthers.
Stevens, big time transfer coming over from Villanova. Inside feed, Ada Carr squeaks it through. Chapman leads 1-0 in the first.
I cannot say more just how important that was for this Chapman team. These seniors 0-8 versus CMS, and the first goal goes to the Panthers. First goal of the season.
Just pinballs around, and Lila Johnston cannot get a grasp on it. Ada Carr, fantastic start to the season for her, had 23 goals last year. And the all-conference player from 2 years ago puts the Panthers up by 1. You mentioned it just moments ago, partner, the confidence that gives Delaney Benson for the rest of this game going forward.
Absolutely. And Delaney Benson, 15-17 record as head coach, but these players really respect her and what she's been able to accomplish in her short time here. Looking to be competitive within the SCIAC once again. just like in Delaney Benson's first season as head coach.
You're going to see Julia Ryan come away with a lot of those draws. The double team nearly works out to perfection. The great escape from Kate Larson. A big one for CMS. We won't see the Athenas usually trail by this in the first quarter. Inside slip and a tie game off the rip. Back and forth we go. We're already underway here in Orange.
Love that overhand. Really just knew how to throw our freshman goalkeeper off. It was right in that top left corner. Easy points for CMS, tied 1-1.
The inside feed, beautifully done there from Grace Minturn. 2024 SCIAC Player of the Year over to Amelia Ulmer, coming off 7 points. Just so many players on this CMS squad that you could say are the X factor for the team.
Yeah, it's impossible to scheme when you know that you could be scheming 15 different goal scorers. Chapman at least got the privilege of having a decent amount of film. CMS sort of pulled out all the stops these last two games. Chapman has their work cut out for them.
Ryan already 2-0 against Geegan. This one scooped up by Stella Hanso. Here comes Mara, that one dislodged. CMS outscored their opponents by over 50 goals in the first quarter last season. Panthers got off to a quick start, however, the answer was right there. And you're going to see a lot of CMS, especially after controlling the draw, get onto the offensive end.
We saw something rare in their last game. CMS trailed a bit early in that one. They went down 5-3 and, of course, came back with 7 straight goals. But Chapman gets another pickoff here.
Escobar blazes forward through the middle. Numbers for Chapman if they hurry. Reagan, the trailer for Carr. And a violation called against CMS. We'll see if a free position comes up out of it. They'll stick with Chapman as doesn't appear there's any card coming out of the pocket of the referee. Free position. Carr looks for her second, denied by Johnston. The back around. He'll stick with the Panthers, but the Panthers already with a few opportunities to try and test Lila Johnston early in this game.
Just what a move by Lila Johnson. I mean, able to stop the free position goal. That was a place that Chapman also struggled with last season, capitalizing on free position goals. They also surrendered quite a few. Just got to clean up, especially against CMS, a team that just makes so few mistakes.
Jide, knifes inside, it had it knocked away. And we'll flip the field for CMS as they force the turnover. I mean, if you are the Panthers, you know what this game means. First game of the season against a team like CMS. What are you looking for over these next 5 or so minutes to make sure this is a game well within reach heading into the second quarter?
I mean, I'm looking towards the 10 new faces, 10 freshmen ready to make a mark. They're the ones that are going to be playing with the most speed and the most fire. And they're the ones that CMS, of course, hasn't seen yet this season. I mean, there's just so many options to put in, so many different rotations that head coach Delaney Benson can go with. Just got to find one that works and exploit any weaknesses they can find with this CMS defense.
Reagan flips it out for Escobar. 2 hat tricks last season against CMS and Chapman's 2 losses to the Athenas last year. Out for Scheid. Now makes her move. Slipped out towards the back. Over in the front and taken away out of midair. Julia Ryan, who else comes out of it from the pack?
Julia Ryan, we've mentioned how she can do pretty much anything on the field. See her driving all the way into attacking position.
Larson navigates, now onto her left, back to the right. And a free position coming up for CMS. A chance for their first lead of the game with Kate Larson here to take.
CMS .457 from free position last season. Opponent shot .392.
Larson lunges, the bounce does not go. So far, Chapman doing a good job against this Athena squad. Usually CMS able to put a few on the board, especially within the first 5 minutes. Still a 1-1 game. Seidel flipped out for Ryan. First miscue of the game for her. So many options for CMS on the attacking front, including Amelia Ulmer. Seidel, the former Panther. Dodges, weaves.
I love all the audibles coming from the Chapman bench. So vocal with their team. Not just commending the leadership at home for these Panthers. Kept this game tied up.
Second time today we've seen Maddie Escobar giving some problems to CMS on the defensive side. Now the Panthers offense can reset with Tade Scheid, Maddie Escobar. This midfield trio, including the Villanova transfer Zoe Stevens, arguably the most experienced unit out there for Chapman this season. Reagan will bide her time. So far, not a lot of movement from the Panthers. Now Escobar goes! Maddie Escobar, it's magic! And Chapman back in front, up by 1.
Yeah, Maddie Magic took it to the bank and deposited it, giving Chapman a 2-1 lead early. Unprecedented. CMS down. Need to start controlling time of possession early. Do not want Chapman to come away. CMS just rarely has to play from behind. It's going to be interesting to see how they adapt, how they cut into this Chapman lead.
That Panthers bench loving what they're seeing from this new look squad. Keep in mind that brilliant breakdown you had of the last time these two teams faced off. Chapman actually led 2-1 in the first quarter, 14 unanswered from CMS following that. We'll see if history repeats itself today or if the Panthers have different plans with a new team.
Yeah, Chapman has to know that this CMS team loves going on runs. Had a 7-point run when they were down against Bates.
Scheid now gets her chance in the center circle. Same result for Julia Ryan, however. Larson dodges and weaves into the attacking zone. Covarrubias dislodged it. We'll get the first green card of the game going to Covarrubias, gets the warning. The Panthers now outnumbered on the defensive side. First power play for CMS here today.
Exactly where CMS thrives. Want to see more testing for Chapman's freshman goalkeeper. See if anything moves around at that keeper position after this game. This defense just doing well containing this multifaceted offense in CMS.
Larson. Lewison, inside feed for Ryan, and Gabrian with her first career save.
This spring transfer Gabrian, first save of her career. Could be looking at many more if she maintains production.
Now put in a bind, spins away from Mihara, and nearly into trouble, but Welsh comes away with it. Bernstein has acres of room to run. Bernstein, the freshman, one-on-one, takes it herself, and Johnston comes up big.
Yeah, good thing Johnson staved that goal. Almost could have been an own goal there. That ball rolled a little bit too close to the net. CMS still gets to come away with it on the fast break.
Seidel scurries inside. Forced out in the end. Panthers willing to play off right now as CMS looks for the spaces. Here's Kate Lewison, former first team All-SCIAC. Did not play last year because she decided to study abroad. What a career she would have had for all 4 years if she decided to stay last spring. Minturn She's one of the all-time greats. Lewison leaves it outside for Larson. Here comes Kate, dislodged once again. It's the third caused turnover by Maddie Escobar in this first quarter.
Looking for Maddie Escobar to really make a difference on defense. CMS another shot at it.
Seidel can't make it count on her old stomping grounds. And so far it feels like CMS yet to really settle into this game here in the morning.
We see them just get in motion so quickly in pass games. This one seems like they're struggling in offense.
Right on cue. Grace Minturn proves you wrong and ties this game up at 2 apiece.
It's the commentator effect right there. But of course, this CMS offense, so little can stop them. Game tied 2-2.
5 points against Bates for those, providing for teammates. And the 2024 SCIAC Player of the Year just loaded on this offensive end. On the cut inside, Maddie Escobar has been near perfect to begin this game. This time, all the experience of the senior to her benefit right there.
One of my keys to victory for the Panthers, right on my spotter board, just have to take the ball away early and often. And I think we've seen Chapman execute to perfection on that state. 2-2 game.
Back out there is Tage Scheid. You're going to see Julia Ryan every single time. Just so skilled at flipping it to herself. You see so many different players when they get the draws. They're trying to pass it out to a teammate. That ball soars 20 feet into the air. It's always in the right position for Ryan in the end. Minturn back to back, just like that. They're gonna rule it off, however. And Chapman comes away unscathed, a bit scared if you're the Panthers after that one.
Julia Ryan, so much skill, and she's not necessarily has a size mismatch to anybody, actually a little shorter than most of the draw specialists she plays against. Just utter skill from her.
See what the call is down on the field. All the players look a little bit confused as well. Obviously, if you're Chapman at this point, you're hoping that you can get into the lead, but 2-2 feels like a victory with 4:49 left in the first quarter if you're Delaney Benson.
110% Nico. This Chapman team just looking for anything early against a division rival. 8-0 for these seniors on CMS against Chapman. And that is whiteboard material for the Panthers.
Stevens shifts inside. They'll stick with Chapman. Panthers doing a good job of taking their opportunities so far on the offensive end. No dice on that last one from the Villanova transfer. Carr kicks it out to Stevens. Stevens, the inside feed. Put just above the bar.
Just the slightest bit high. That's one you wish you could have back out of that nice ball movement inside. Unfortunate, Panthers going to restart this possession.
Another inside feed. Presley Pewitt couldn't come away with it. The Panthers turn it over in the end after 2 shots.
We've seen Chapman just force CMS to slow down, and you'll see it on this possession. It's another cause turnover.
Chapman forces a turnover. The inside feed gets deflected on the way inside. Still waiting to see what the call is. Neither team yet has celebrated on that bench. Will it be a free position? It looks like it will for Brooke Bernstein.
Just going back to that cause turnover, Cassidy Carroll just unable to haul that ball in. That was a nice body check by Chapman. Has to keep playing physical, but of course, not too physical. That could lead to some big free position goals. Chapman just cannot afford in this tight game.
So no free position in the end. A reset for Chapman, however, from the top of the key. Now out with Reagan on the far side of your screen. Stevens was lurking around. Martin for Pewitt. Chapman back up by 1, and the Panthers certainly causing some noise in this first quarter, the first of Pewitt's career.
Absolutely, and a lot of noise from the bench on that one. I think we've seen a great job by Chapman by these second chance goals. I mean, missed the first one, go back and score even more impressively on the second. All smiles for the Panthers.
You deserve to celebrate. Presley Pewitt with the first of her career. These Panthers, it may not be a runaway train just yet. However, playing CMS better than they have, quite frankly, for many, many years already in this first quarter. Let's flip it to the CMS side. Obviously, you haven't been punched in the mouth necessarily, but I'm sure they weren't necessarily expecting this in the first quarter. How do you respond in this final 240?
Well, first, I want to see your bench have a little bit more energy here. I remember when my dad was watching one of my basketball games, he said the reason the other team lost was that their team just wasn't making noise. I think you need to see this CMS team start signaling their teammates, start making noise, calling your shot. So crucial in these games in the hot sun. Can suck the energy right out of you. CMS needs to find continuity within their offense and just get some energy within their bench.
Long pause here. Now Ryan and Scheid back into the center circle once again. Ryan's release has been near perfect this entire game. And every single time, it's going to end up in threes.
It's clockwork.
Lewison out for Seidel. CMS has had the equalizer every single time. However, this squad outscored their opponents by 52 in the first quarter last season. Larson, inside feed, upper 90 and in. They make it look too easy there. And Kate Larson puts one past for her first of the game.
I think we're seeing a little bit more of that 5-3-3 set. Chapman, 5 defenders. Again, no excuses to let a player drive inside like that. Have to start getting a little bit more physical on defense. So far, Chapman executing well on offense. Something tells me this game's going to be close until the end.
I mean, she just knifed her way inside. There was no one there to stop.
I think that's one of the biggest differences you see between men's and women's lacrosse. Men's, you're allowed to get a little bit more physical. Women's, you have to rely on stopping players with your body and also sort of with how you're moving against them. It's much more of you're suffocating the player rather than you're just trying to really dislodge. It's a fully different ball game. The first one goes to CMS.
Ryan, once again, has it dislodged, still will stick with CMS. After the foul, Georgia Geegan, Tage Scheid. We'll probably see Maddie Escobar a few times in that center circle as well. Either way, Julia Ryan, a big reason why she led the nation in draw controls per game last year with 19. She's averaging 24 a game through 2 games so far, might even top that here today.
And the starting draw specialist for Chapman may be just the first person to get the ball away from Julia Ryan.
Lewison has that one plucked out of midair by Anna Barton, one of the standout freshmen. Avalanche of bodies down on the near side, and Ada Carr finally comes away from the pack.
Seen so much hustle from this offense. Different from last season. Like we said pregame, a new look team for the Panthers, new leaders to rise to the occasion.
Scheid out for Escobar. Those 2 midfield maestros expected to take a big step now as captains in their 3rd seasons with the program.
Chapman also doing a good job just killing some clock. I mean, when you come out to a lead early, even in a tie game at this point, you still want to keep this game close because you know that CMS can run away with a game at any point. So killing the clock, and then of course going in, making the right play. Critical for the Panthers.
Pewitt had the last for the Panthers. Scheid, Pewitt, the 1-2. And a bounce shot just goes up and over. For that two-man game, we heard from Delaney Benson earlier in the week, that's what they want to get to, exposing those weaknesses. And the Panthers already showing some glimpses of what they can be this season.
Some of those weaknesses they're going to try to exploit. CMS took 2 yellow cards in their last game, went 0 for 4 in clears in the fourth quarter, uncharacteristic. And then CMS had 22 turnovers in that last game. We're seeing that feed in to why Chapman took an early lead in this one. So many turnovers and miscues by CMS, leading to another solid possession for the Panthers, killing a lot of clock.
Escobar with 13 left to shoot. Final 10 seconds of this first quarter. Escobar navigates, inside dip, has it dislodged, and he'll stick with Chapman. But the horn sounds. Panthers and Athena is tied up at 3 apiece. I'm sure nobody expected it would be this close after the first 15.
Absolutely not. You rarely see CMS go down early in these games. Of course, that's all due to this Chapman defense doing what they do best, taking the ball away early and often. They've just came out firing, keeping this game tied going into our first break.
Chapman tied up at 3 apiece. And you have to say, if you're Delaney Benson, this is looking a little bit different from last season. You mentioned that sophomore slump last year at 5-8. Now they have a chance to really prove a point, even if they don't come away with the win here today. Going against Pomona Pitzer coming up on Wednesday, you get a chance as we take a look at some of these first quarter goals.
Just 2 beautiful, beautiful goals, and that underhand. Anything to throw off these CMS defenders. Some of these CMS goals just looked a little bit too easy. Need your freshman goalkeeper to step up a little bit if you want to seal this one.
That one, the most simple one of the day for Kate Larson, the cut inside. And CMS looking for some answers. They did not expect to be tied at this point. Chapman certainly hanging around after the first 15. We'll step aside here from Wilson Field. Don't go anywhere. Second quarter action right after this. Ten years ago, the world was dominated by the Mannequin Challenge. Pokemon Go also saw the release of Zootopia, Beyonce's Lemonade. It was also the last time Chapman took down CMS in a SCIAC battle. Holden, what were you doing 10 years ago, all the way back in 2016?
See, I was 9 years old, so my best guess is I was probably sitting on the couch watching Cartoon Network, SpongeBob. Definitely was not tuning in to women's lacrosse.
I'd have to agree. I probably was a little bit more on the Minecraft trend at that point in my life.
Oh, yeah.
But
Oh,
definitely can get behind the Cartoon Network.
100%. You saw some weaknesses carry on from their game against Bates for CMS. Chapman 6 ground balls to Claremont 0. And those clears, Chapman 5 for 5 on clears, Claremont 2 for 4. Uncharacteristic mistakes for CMS that are carrying on from that fourth quarter in that game against Bates.
Already the Panthers causing some problems on the defensive side. We've seen 5 caused turnovers for Chapman so far. And CMS not necessarily punched in the mouth the way that Chapman punched TCU in the mouth, obviously. The Horned Frogs came back last night in men's lacrosse. However, this Chapman squad lingering around, and it's definitely been a lot closer than I think a lot of us would have expected at this point in the game.
Yeah, I think some commonalities that you see between these two lacrosse programs at Chapman, both the men's and women's team have brought in a lot of new talent. Like we mentioned earlier, Chapman's brought in 10 new freshmen, a bunch of new faces to put this program on the map under third-year coach Delaney Benson.
That scoring production for CMS in the second quarter. As you see Coach Benson down there having a chat with the officials. Outscored their opponents by 30 a game, 30 in the second quarter per game. My goodness, this Chapman squad. Second quarter got a little bit iffy last season, being outscored by 23 in the second frame. If you're Chapman, how do you keep that momentum going into this next 15?
I mean, be loud, signal your shots, signal your team. I think that's something Chapman's done great, supporting your entire roster, whether you're on the bench or on the field. Chapman also just working the fundamentals of CMS, getting really solid turnovers, capitalizing on anything CMS gives them, but still only a tie game. Gonna have to continue working their magic, will the Panthers.
Second quarter doesn't begin with a draw. I have to assume that's why. There was a talk down with the coaches. CMS will start with the ball to begin this second quarter. Ella Seidel, former Panther, yet to find the score sheet so far today on her former stomping grounds.
And you know she wants to do that more than anybody on the CMS team.
62 points last season, a single season record holding for the Panthers all time.
Say Seidel came here to win.
Seidel forced outside, Pewitt there to meet her. Mihara. Actually make that Matzik as it dislodged. Minturn.
Finally seeing some defensive pressure by Chapman.
Matzik had a career-high 4 goals and a big save there from Gabrian. A confidence booster for the freshman transfer coming over from St. Thomas Aquinas. We mentioned it in the first quarter, Chapman allowing CMS to get those spaces. They played off a lot in that first quarter, but as we get a free position coming up for Kate Larson, definitely applying a bit more pressure here in the second. Larson, the inside lunge, and CMS leads for the first time today.
Yeah, CMS so efficient from free position, converts 0.457% of the time. That's just something you have to play very, very clean against CMS.
Larson with her second of the game. Another one of these key players, had a 3-point game against Bates. Started all 19 games for the Athenas last season.
Just got to be grateful, though, as a Panther. I mean, CMS just really thrived at putting away games early. You have to be just really thankful that your team is still in it this early. Just give you so much more confidence against an Athena's team. Just been nonstop, all action for their first 2 games of the season.
Ryan wins it off the rip once again. And a blaze forward from Summer Matzik has it dislodged. Escobar up for Bernstein. 3 Athenas in retreat as the cavalry finally arrives for Chapman. Pewitt plunges her way into the attacking zone. Escobar. Pewitt. Adakar forced out. If you're Chapman, first time that they've been down in this game, how do you battle back from adversity?
By doing things like that. Beautiful goal. Tie game. Chapman working these players more than we've seen CMS get worked early in games. And just even with having not won a draw yet today, Chapman finds themselves in a tie game with CMS on a 10-year winning crusade over the Panthers.
The 4-year senior in the cage for CMS, Lila Johnston, has had appearances all 3 years, but it's her first year starting. Maybe some of those nerves coming through in this second SCIAC game of the season for CMS.
You see that a lot with this team. This CMS roster is very big. Every player earning their spot on this roster. If something doesn't feel right for CMS, they'll switch it up. And I wonder, with some of these mistakes we're seeing from some of these key starters, they'll start trying out some of the many offensive weapons they have. 15 players with at least 1 goal so far this season.
Egan meets Ryan once again, and Ryan rips it away once again. CMS always controlling the game, with Julia Ryan getting them extra possessions. The Panthers have been everywhere, particularly in transition, when CMS hasn't necessarily set up their offense quite yet. Tate Scheid, Maddie Escobar causing controlled chaos.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of opportunity for CMS to really get to the net. These Chapman defenders just pushing so high, forcing so many balls out. Again, just doing what they do best. I mean, this was where they really succeeded last season. 301 ground balls, 164 caused turnovers, both higher than their opponents. They're just doing it so effectively to start the season.
Kearney can run. Here's Lonnie McCombs. McCombs. Scheid on the trailer. Tate Scheid given a runway and couldn't make it count. Carr, inside feed. Escobar made a jumping effort to collect. And he'll stick with Chapman as Summer Matzik called for the crime.
As you see with Tate Scheid, you see her on defense a lot. Still got that second team all SCIAC last season, even only having 34 points. But the reason why she got that is she's able to poke the ball away so much. She's just looking to start activating on offense, put up more points, more goals, elevate this team offensively, as Chapman only put up 207 goals last season to opponents 241.
One of the best two-way players within the conference. Made a name for herself in year number 1, only grew on that last season. Now they're expecting her, voted as a team captain in year number 3, to take that extra step, both on and off the field. Presley Pewitt to reset for us in just a moment. If you're the Panthers, you've hung around this long, but how do you go on a run to make sure that this game can get to a 2-goal lead, maybe even a 3-goal lead, and really put the pressure on?
I mean, Nico, we're in uncharted territory here. Chapman never really led against CMS these last couple seasons. Just have to revert back to the fundamentals, play to CMS's pace. You've been able to slow them down this much. Now you just got to start killing clock and hope that some of your lead attackers can come through and ring off a couple more goals.
Barton just got checked in the back. We'll see what the call is down on the field. Sure, plenty of these upperclassmen, for all the times that they've lost to CMS, none hurt more than a couple of years ago in the SCIAC semifinal when they lost 21-2. Get so far in the season, just can't come through in the end. Barton blazes inside and it's plucked out of midair by Johnston.
Johnston was right there. It was almost like stick-to-stick contact on that save. Great intuition by her. CMS, another shot to take this lead back.
Errant pass there. Falls favorably out for Ulmer. Matzik had a career-high 4 goals last season against the Panthers. Minturn flips out for Seidel. Seidel, the skipper, up and in. The former Panther has her first of the game, and it puts CMS back in front.
Her 5th goal of the season. 8 shots in her last game, only 1 game in this one, or only 1 goal in that one. Now in this one, puts her first one on the board against her former teammates got to be happy. A revenge point for none other than Ella Seidel.
Going against her former teammate in Maddie Escobar. Gets the best, even through contact. It looked like Escobar nearly able to jar that one loose from the backside. Too much strength and power for the Los Angeles native. 10:06 left in this first half. CMS up by 1. Heard so much about these freshmen, as well as a few of these transfers coming into the game, but for Chapman, it's really been the returners, especially the upperclassmen, who've carried the way so far.
Absolutely. New leaders blossoming within this team. As you see there, another possession coming up for the Panthers. That was their first draw win so far in this one against Julia Ryan.
Turns into a miscue on Chapman's side, and then a turnover for CMS as Seidel couldn't track it down. Here comes Pewitt. One of those 10 new faces on this Chapman squad. Jarred loose by Matzik. Welsh, captain of the Mexican national team for women's lacrosse. Can Kearney get there? No, she cannot, as she runs out of real estate. Chance for CMS to play with pace and really put on the pressure. Seidel, 3-on-3. Seidel puts him up by 2.
Back-to-back points from Seidel. Unlocks a little bit of extra insight into this Chapman team. Having played there last season, she's a hidden weapon for CMS. Any player going against their former team is going to know a little bit more about how to dissect their defense.
Shaky start for CMS, 3-3 after the first. They've put up 3 so far to Chapman's 1 here in the second. If you are the Panthers, it felt like the run was going to be inevitable, but how do you make sure it wasn't the 14 unanswered that we saw last time these two teams played?
You just have to rely on your defense, that 5-3-3 formation. If you want to stick with that, commit to it, you just have to be able to control CMS right when they pass midfield.
Escobar nearly caused some problems for Ryan, and there's still a little bit of chaos down there on the field. A trip does not result in a whistle.
Best case scenario for the Panthers, able to jump on that free ball and capitalizing on any mistakes. Critical in this one.
And it wasn't necessarily flawless in that first quarter, but you're starting to see some of those mistakes compound here in the second for Chapman after that missed pass.
Absolutely. I mean, it's your first game of the season. It's tough for any team trying to get back to winning ways. Chapman just needs to keep thinking of those fundamentals. They practice it in practice nearly every day. Mistakes just cannot be tolerated against the CMS team.
Intern makes 2 miss. Now makes a 3rd. Out for Matzik, inside feed, Ulmer puts them up by 3. A bullseye for the Athenas, and they're starting to run away with it.
Yeah, this is what you worry about with this Athenas team. Went on a 7-0 run in their last game, of course. I mentioned that huge run that they took against Chapman last season. CMS team just can run away with it at any point. Just have to hope that your defense can make some moves and put your offense into position to possibly get this game tied back up.
Chapman loses track of the inside zone. An easy finish for Amelia Ulmer for her 2nd of the game, and a timeout taken by Delaney Benson. Things look good after the first quarter, a bit shakier here in the second. What is she telling her team down on that field?
I mean, the 3rd-year head coach, she's probably just needing to tell her team that, like, this team won't be beat just by hoping that your setup and how you're going to structure your offense and defense will work. She's probably thinking, how can I motivate these girls to really play 110%, even on the first game of the season in the morning sun. So much inspiration within this young group, inspired by some of these leaders who have already stepped up in this game. Again, I just want to see those young players make noise, be vocal, and of course, feed to some of these older players. let them take control at the attacker midfielder positions.
See Nada Carr, you just saw Angelina Welsh as well. Two of the senior captains on this squad trying to galvanize the troops. Making sure they get back to the fundamentals, because so far CMS up 7-4. This game can get out of hand very quickly if Lauren Orr is pushing all the right buttons on the Athena sideline.
Chapman, I think we've just seen, Claremont done a little bit better with their accuracy on goal. Now you got 8 shots on goal, and 7 of them for CMS have all capitalized. Just really effective. Have to start forcing some bad shots, and I think that's just, again, where you lean on that 5-man defense. Because Claremont, they're going to dominate you on time of possession. Have to find a way to stop them from scoring.
CMS up by 3. The Panthers look for some answers. Julia Ryan in the center circle for CMS has certainly caused a few extra problems for Delaney Benson trying to control the time here in this game. Already 11 draw controls for the Athenas. Have to imagine at least double digits for Julia Ryan at this point in the game, as Maddie Escobar finally gets some of her first cracks at the second team All-American.
This is just standard for Julia Ryan. She can do this day in and day out.
You just have to wonder what her technique is. What makes her really stand out from every single player in the nation inside that center circle?
And you just have to think that, like, you're seeing when this ball goes up into the air, you're seeing how it almost always lands in the same exact spot, sort of right on that notch below the logo. She's always able, with her speed and just how she's a little bit undersized, she's able to sneak through and get the easy draw controls. And that was her 60th draw control right there of the season.
Same result for Ryan, and it means easy pickings for Grace Minturn into the top corner and in. It's been a tough first game for Cam Gabrian. Have to wonder potentially a goalie change maybe in order at halftime to try and get Chapman into this game once again.
Absolutely, and if CMS scores a couple more goals, you have to start thinking about how you can get some more wear into your 3 goalkeepers, trying them out, seeing what works. Maybe if one of them can be a little bit of a spark plug, Chapman can get themselves back into this game. But with how they're running their offense right now, defense just sort of bound to struggle.
First time, I will see Julia Ryan unable to pluck it away for herself, and Presley Pewitt gets the second draw control of the game for Chapman.
What I love about the draw in women's lacrosse is it's almost like make it take it in basketball. It means that these teams can just go on runs if they have the control over the draw, and CMS almost always does. Puts a load off on the CMS defense. Defenders have to be thanking Julia Ryan for all that she's done for this team the last 2 years.
Here comes Mihara, coming off her second career hat trick with 3 goals past Bates. Seidel. Now flipped out for Seridano. Hounded by 2. And Maddie Escobar continues to be a nuisance in CMS side. Still on the boundary, and CMS able to come away with it. 5-1 quarter for the Athenas so far on the score sheet. Another inside feed. Seidel couldn't scoop and score, but the Panthers hanging on to their last breath.
Exactly what you need. You have to start disrupting these attackers. So really nice moves by Chapman. Able to force a bad shot. Couldn't get the turnover, but still killed some clock. CMS got to play with some increased pace now.
A reset outside the fan. This Chapman defense, mixture of returners, plenty of experience out there. However, a few new faces, including in the cage with Cam Gabrian. Spring transfer, wasn't here last semester playing for St. Thomas Aquinas. Seidel shot sails over. Final 5.5 of this first half. And it feels like CMS is really starting to control the tempo of this game to their liking.
They do such a great job of that. Of course, you need an answer for Julia Ryan, but you also just need an answer for these 15 players on CMS that have all scored a goal so far this season. Almost got the pick off there.
Brown out for Seidel. Spins, now back towards the weak side. Back out for Mackey. Ruby Mackey, stopped by Gabrian. A big one for the freshman, and that's a confidence booster if I've ever seen one.
Absolutely, more saves from Gabrian. Another key element if Chapman wants to be able to control a little bit more pacing in this game. Gabrian, nice job stepping up there. Makes the solid save. Chapman another chance to strike back, finding themselves down 4.
The freshman's 4th disruption of the game. Still holding on to the ball as nobody can get open right now for Chapman. A long ball over the top. Ball's in the favor of Anna Barton. Here comes Scheid. Still yet to see her really make that impact that we thought she would. Heading into this game, CMS, arguably her toughest opponent to play against in her career. Escobar spins, now maneuvers, had it dislodged at the end. And it looks like a free position will come up as Maddie Escobar hits the turf and is still down.
Cannot lose Escobar at this point in the game. He's going to be your lead offensive producer, regardless of who's on the field. She gets up, walking easily now. Teammates always cheering her on.
Escobar with 31 goals last season took a big step offensively after primarily being used as a draw specialist in year 1. She delivers! And Chapman, with their 2nd goal of the quarter, pulls it back within 3.
Exactly what you need. 3 minutes left before half. You can't have halftime discussions with your coach if you're down too much. Now Chapman always going to keep it close at Wilson Field in front of their home crowd.
An emphatic spike down of the stick. You can clearly tell some of those 2nd quarter frustrations pent up right there, and a nice release to pull the Panthers back within 3 minutes left in this first half. CMS has controlled this second 15 pretty much through and through. If you're the Panthers in these final 3 minutes, what are you looking for on the offensive end? Because we've seen a few more mistakes than we did in that first quarter.
I mean, I'm looking at offense, but I'm also really looking at defense. You need a couple more turnovers to really put your offense in winning position. I think that that's something that CMS is so good at doing. They just control time of clock so well. You have to be able to take the ball away, especially from the draw. And as they approach the goal crease, you're just looking for any sort of turnover, pick the ball away, do what you do best. Like I mentioned earlier, Chapman needs to find a way to get this ball back once or twice before half.
Always feels like there's an opportunity for the Athenas when Julia Ryan is controlling the tempo of this one. Mackey onto that left shoulder, gets triple teamed. And that turnover that you just mentioned, Tate Scheid has green grass in front of her and plenty of space to run.
Tate Scheid, the anchor I mentioned pregame, does exactly what I was expecting her to do. Gets the cause turnover. Now Chapman can't slow down pace too much, but needs to set up the right play to break through this CMS defense.
Bernstein out for Barton. This attacking trio. Actually, I should say an attacking quartet, including Ada Carr, Bernstein, Reagan, and Barton. As that ball gets deflected on the shot inside. So far, a quiet first half from them for Chapman. Scheid took her eye off the ball.
CMS thought they could have corralled that one in. Looked like that ball was up for grabs. Chapman able to slow this possession back down.
Here comes Carr. Reagan resets behind the cage. Now pressure comes. Inside feed, Carr cannot connect. Another big save from Lila Johnston in between the pipes. Bernstein has her first of her career.
Exactly what you want to see from Bernstein. All the new faces coming in to make a difference against one of the best teams in the SCIAC. A 2-point game with a minute left on the clock. Chapman keeping this game close at the half.
Benson telling us earlier in the week, the pass first player, one of the most unselfish players on the team. She just positions it perfectly on the bounce. And the freshman has this Chapman bench fired up. They're only down by 2, and they're suddenly hanging around once again.
It's the fun of lacrosse. Anyone can go on a run. The game is not over until the clock says 0, and we're going to see that in the final minute of this first half.
Can Kearney conjure something up against Julia Ryan in the center circle now? 4th player that we've seen on the draw for Chapman thus far.
Chapman wins the draw until it's brought back to CMS.
Here comes Hansel. Now for Mihara. CMS 40 seconds left. And they're not going to do anything with that potential final possession of the first half. The Panthers a chance to pull within 1 if Covarrubias can get out of straitjacket. She does. Up ahead for Scheid. Final 15 here in the first half. Down to 10. Reagan needs to hurry. Does Chapman have the angle? They got to fire something up. And the horn sounds, and the Panthers come away at the end of the first half, unable to get a shot off. However, 2 unanswered goals. And it has to feel a lot better for the crowd here, knowing that this team is still within it.
Exactly, and that's where you see that CMS suffocation defense, just not leaving anyone open while the Panthers were in attacking position. Chapman, that 8-6 lead. Huge moment for the Panthers. Could have an opportunity to knock off CMS. Like we mentioned earlier, CMS 8-0 against these Chapman seniors. You'll see some heat later in this game. Chapman, all they want to do is open their season with a win against one of the most storied rivalries in the SCIAC.
Home opener here for Chapman. First road game of the season for CMS. The Athenas lead 8-6 at the break on the road against Chapman. Seen plenty of players get on the score sheet so far. 4 players with a brace for CMS. Grace Minturn, Ella Seidel, Amelia Ulmer, and Kate Larson. Have yet to see Julia Ryan, as well as a few of these other impact players like Kate Lewison, get on the board. But when you have Larson, Minturn, Escobar on the other side, it's surely going to be a good one for the rest of this game.
Not agree more. Looking more at some of those first half highlights. Seidel got back-to-back points early. Looking for the hat trick in the second half. CMS just knows how to control that pace so well. Beautiful moves all over. There's that free position goal.
CMS up by 2. Ella Seidel on her old stomping grounds as a sophomore, already commanding the team in year number 2 of her collegiate career. On the other side for Chapman, they look for their first win of the season in 2026. This Panthers squad trying to pull off the biggest upset that they've had in 10 years against a team they have not beaten in a decade. And for more on that, let's go down to the sidelines with our very own Anna Zeminski.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here on the sideline at halftime. Now, from that first half, you could really see Chapman giving it their all, managing to maintain a tie throughout the first quarter, and then they fell a little behind in the second. The energy has been really high throughout. I've been on the sideline. The Chapman team has been so vocal, and I think that this game being on their home turf could really be an asset if they take advantage of it. That's it for me right now. Holden and Nico, back up to you guys.
Absolutely, Anna. Chapman trail by 2, but certainly the hope is looking up for the Panthers here in 2026 after a down year. Don't go anywhere. Second half action coming up on CSBN right after this.
Back with a vengeance, back on the grinds, back to the business. Ay, God is my witness, they watching my moves, I shows they binging. Ay, best keep distance, all of my haters send best of wishes. I get to the bag with the quickness, no I don't need no assistance, no. Yeah, no playing it safe, I said let's get it, you say not today. What can I say, you ain't gon' go for it, get out the way. Yeah, got no time to waste, can't be with me if you're not at my pace. You're not at my level, you're not in my race. One foot on the gas, I'm pushing the brakes. Dancing with the devil, there's no recital. I'm killing competition, ain't no revival. I shoot it to kill it, I'm aiming for vitals. I'm showing no mercy when facing my rivals. Snakes in the grass, they're getting exposed. I know they be lurking, I'm watching them close. Acting like friends, but really they foes. Saw they be scheming and said adios. Yeah, I gotta get it. By any means. I gotta get it, don't mind it. I gotta get it, don't mind it. Get it, don't mind it.
tight affair here in Orange as the Panthers trail by just 2 to CMS. The Athenas have taken down Chapman every single time for the last 10 years. Nico Schwegler, Holden Buckley on hand. And so far, a back-and-forth battle. Panthers scoring the final 2 goals of that first half, Holden.
Yeah, back-and-forth battle indeed. CMS still not used to playing from behind, and they played from behind for a couple minutes there. But then they went on one of their signature runs that we've seen from really the last 8 seasons, able to go on these just astonishing runs. Chapman has to prevent any sort of runs in this second half if they want to seal the deal.
Liv Kearney out there for Chapman to begin this second half on the draw. It was all Claremont, and Julia Ryan continues her dominance to begin this season after leading the nation in draw controls last season.
Anytime I hear leading the nation, all I think about is might be time to go D1. Might be time to try your hand. But a lot of these players, I mean, CMS, great school, committed to academics. So many all academic players on this big roster.
Been dominating the draws, already with 12 so far today, has 1 assist as well. Has never had more than 2 points, interestingly enough, against Chapman in her career.
No hat trick for her. CMS shot to extend their lead.
A miscue to begin the second half for the Athenas, and picked up by the Villanova transfer, Zoe Stevens. Welsh walks around near the back. Cam Gabrian still within the cage for Chapman to begin this second half. If you're the Panthers, you ended off this first half strong. How do you get a good start here to make this a more interesting game?
I mean, I like the pace that we're seeing so far, and again, doing what they do best, taking the ball away, critical as always, and then of course just trying to dominate more of this time of possession. I mean, you know you're going to lose a lot of your jaws to Julia Ryan, so might as well try to make the most of every single point you're given, especially within enemy territory. You still have ground to make up. You're down 2 to CMS.
Scheid out for Pewitt, the freshman. Her alongside Brooke Bernstein getting their first career goals in that first half for Chapman. Scheid rolls inside. Tate Scheid takes it herself. Big 6 makes it 7 for Chapman, and they trail by 1.
Tate Scheid, exactly what you want to see from her in this second half, activating offensively. Like Nico said, one of the best two-way players in the SCIAC. SCIAC second teamer. It's her first goal in this second half.
Tate Scheid, a player who had never scored against CMS prior to that last shot there. That has to feel like a confidence booster, but still some more work to do if you're the Panthers. If you're CMS on the other side, we saw them concede first, had a strong second quarter. How do you make sure that this game is all said and done heading into the final 15, let's say?
I mean, you have to hope that Chapman can sort of go on a run of their own. You saw a couple points where they could put up back-to-back points in pretty quick fashion. And right now, you need to start controlling a little bit more of the draw, as we see coming up.
Liv Kearney, so far in the short sample size, still has had the most success against Julia Ryan, now 2 for 1 on the who will get her opportunity after 3 juniors all had their try at their counterpart in Scarlet Red. Larson with a brace in that first half, has it dislodged by Zoe Stevens, and the pressure amping up from this Panther defense.
That was back-to-back possessions where Chapman was able to disrupt, won the draw against Julia Ryan, which is so rare, even though they turned that ball over just a couple seconds ago. Chapman, they're able to continue disrupting the CMS offense, keep them out of scoring position. Could see a lot of production from this Chapman offense.
Seidel, inside feed, she has a hat trick against her former team. It's a bullseye from 1-9, and CMS back up by a pair.
The CMS goal scored by number 19, Ella Seidel.
Third goal, so critical for Seidel. Like you said, against her former team, was able to break the defender. Really just had a wide open net there, making it look easy. Right below that top bar. Teammates on both sides. Got to be happy for her in some capacity.
5'2" sophomore out of Tabor Academy up in Los Angeles. Chapman thought they knew how to defend her after seeing her in practice every single day for a year. Clearly seems like she's added a few new weapons to the arsenal here in year number 2.
I mean, I'm sure last season all these teammates were saying, oh, I'm so glad I don't have to play Ella Seidel. Now it's just their worst nightmare come true. She's playing for one of the most storied division rivalries in SCIAC women's lacrosse.
Lewison. 4 goals against Bates, still yet to find her first, and Gabrian denies her that opportunity.
Lewison, one of the key elements when CMS fell behind against Bates 5-2, went on that 7-0 run. That was led by Lewison and her strong scoring ability. Scored a couple of those goals in that run. And there just gets denied right at the crease.
Carr catapults out from the backside. Maddie Escobar has a runway. Escobar, Reagan to her left. Escobar down Broadway. Maddie Escobar has her 4th, and it's jackpot for Chapman.
It's a track race for Maddie Escobar, the 5-sport athlete. Did track throughout high school, and you see some of that speed. And of course, that production at the very end. Teammates gotta be so pumped to be in this game nearly halfway through the 3rd quarter.
The thorn for the Athenas so far had 2 hat tricks last season against CMS. What a way to begin her season. Now as a junior captain. And the Panthers lingering around once again, down by just 1 goal against a team who we kept on mentioning the fact that the seniors of this current Chapman squad 0-8 against this CMS team. They were outscored by nearly a dozen on average in those games. The fact that they're still in this and have a chance to even take a lead here in the 3rd, just astounding based on history's results.
Absolutely, and CMS, even in their games last season, Chapman not able to get even within 9 points of CMS in either of those games. And now only find themselves down 1.
Ulmer. Outside feed. Matzik has it pushed away by Covarrubias. That looked like it should have been easy pickings for CMS. Ultimately, they need a reset. Mackey. Hounded. And has it stripped away. Coming out of it, Maddie Escobar once again. It's a 5-on-4 if they hurry. And that ball just got jarred loose. In the end, the Panthers come away empty-handed. Sloan Cooper dodges, weaves. Now up ahead for Ulmer. 1-woman band finds the cavalry to arrive. Minturn. Conti. Seidel with 4 goals so far, out for Minturn, who had 2 in that first half as well. And so
this team could exhaust themselves, need to employ a little bit more of the pass. I think we're seeing it on both sides, only 3 assists per, as Chapman able to take that one away.
Little layoff there from Kelsey Schaefer, one of the standout sophomores trying to build off a very solid freshman season. You mentioned earlier in the show the fact that for Chapman, the way they're going to win this game is disruptions. Already with 8 caused turnovers, you see 13 turnovers for CMS. It's been the recipe for success and a big reason why they're still in this game.
Absolutely, and CMS again, just really struggled in that fourth quarter, turning the ball over. I mean, Chapman had to have researched that, what Bates did to keep CMS under control until that fourth. It's actually really until that third. Even though Bates lost that game by 4 scores, able to force 22 CMS turnovers.
Barton got bruised, and now a chance to tie for the freshman. What a big moment in this one. Anna Barton. Bullseye! Chapman ties it up here in the third.
Absolutely wondrous production. Game turning out to be storybook as number 4 rips the ropes. It's a tie game in the home opener for the Panthers.
Anna Barton with her second of the game. Actually make it the first. She had an assist in the first half. That's why she's been all over this game. And her first collegiate goal has us leveled up, a carbon copy on the score sheet. You just heard I love it. That Chapman bench certainly loving what they're seeing in this third quarter so far.
Just have to keep building on this energy. Can be so important if you let it. There you see head coach Delaney Benson has to be happy with what she's seeing. Can guarantee you she's telling her teams to keep the energy up. Play to your strengths, play to your fundamentals. Of course, just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, even though it's a tie game, it feels like Chapman's had a little bit of a chokehold over the CMS offense for the past couple minutes.
The third-year coach rallies the troops. Obviously, the dichotomy of the situation, it feels like a lot of those players down there excited to just be in this game. If you're Delaney Benson, however, for her, it's about proving that this team belongs on the biggest stages, competing with the biggest teams in Southern California. Lauren Orr has certainly done that over her 14 years at CMS, and making sure that this team gets back to basics, because I'm sure they did not expect, after leading as many by 4 in that second quarter, that they'd be back in a tied game at this point.
Yeah, you have to wonder what Lauren Orr is telling her team at this point. I mean, some of these freshmen, this is their first encounter with Chapman. Everybody just has to band together if they want to scrape past this one. That game against Bates was very up and down, but CMS does not want to be relying on fourth quarter action. In the fourth quarter against Bates, went 0 for 4 on clears. Just didn't really put up too much of anything. Really had to rely on their 4-goal lead going into the final quarter.
4 Athenas in that win against Bates. Got a hat trick. Kate Lewison, so far stumped today, led the way with 4 goals against Bates. Meanwhile, Seidel paces for CMS thus far with her hat trick. 3 other players with a brace. But it's been Maddie Escobar carrying the load for Chapman with 4 goals. So far a game high among all players. And Liv Kearney has caused some problems for Julia Ryan. Probably the most successful draw master that we've seen so far that the Panthers have put out.
We could be seeing the emergence of a new draw master in the freshman. CMS able to take that one away. Standard for them.
Alfred Seidel was tied for the Panthers team high in draw controls last season. Inside feed and off the rip. Out of the timeout, CMS into double figures.
Exactly what you want to see coming out of a timeout. Whatever Lauren Orr told his team, it's working out. CMS takes the lead.
All the excitement for the Panthers fading in a quick instant as Mihara makes the move inside, and CMS back up by 1. Now, if you're the Panthers, that excitement has somewhat wore off. How do you get back into your game face mode?
And still, just got to keep taking away these balls. I mean, the last thing that you want is CMS back within that 15 to 5 meter mark, because that's where they just thrive the most. Just got to start taking these balls away at around midfield. Then, of course, take the extra pass at this point. Both teams struggling a little bit to assist. Just to avoid burning yourself out, have to start passing downfield.
Kearney tries a new tactic, lining up on the same side. Does not work out as it falls out for Stella Hanso. Lewison. CMS led by as many as 4 goals, up 8-4 in the second quarter. The Panthers with a rally here in the third, but they still trail by 1. Ulmer just beyond the left post. Seidel closest one to it for CMS.
Forcing bad shots. Exactly what the Panthers need.
And a clear out for Seidel. She sticks it, and it's back to a 2-goal lead for the Athenas.
Seidel shrugs it off. 4th goal this morning. Seidel. Again, teammates, coaches have to be so happy for her doing this all against her former team. Just a year ago, putting up 55 goals and already 9 on the season within the first 3 games.
Kind of like a sharpshooter in basketball. You give her an ounce of space, and on that turn, she can make you pay in an instant.
Absolutely. Haven't seen her in the open field as much, but she has been the offense that CMS has needed to try to pull away in this one.
Kearney seems to have earned the trust for her successes in this third on the draw. Julia Ryan, inevitable as always. Right on cue. Death, taxes, and Julia Ryan coming away with the draw. Seems like the 3 guarantees of life.
Exactly. She's just so effective. Impossible to stop. Just gotta hope that the ball bounces in your favor.
Here comes Mackey. Overload on the near side. Gives space for Mackey to deliver. And stumped down by Gabrian. Been an up and down debut for her. 2 other goalkeepers on the bench for Chapman, but the freshman transfer getting the start to begin the season here for Delaney Benson.
And they'll stick with her for a hot second. It's Chapman. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Scheid. Panthers orbit the perimeter right now. Simply looking for that extra space. Escobar with her 4 goals today leads the way for Chapman, down by 2 after back-to-back goals from the Athenas. Scheid orchestrates, inside feed, Escobar has 5!
That was just the beautiful assisting that I was talking about, passing inside, something that both teams have really struggled to do today, and right on target, doing the presses. You have to love how this bench has really elevated this team.
Panthers bench says hit the weight room, because Maddie Escobar stronger than the rest as she fires it past Lila Johnston. Back down to a 1-point game in this Panthers squad, proving at least that they won't go away. It'll be a tough finish wire to wire for CMS if they want to keep their undefeated start. A little fun fact about CMS, for all the successes that they've had the past 3 seasons, they have dropped the 3rd game of the year after big wins in both the first 2 of those last 3 campaigns.
Chapman just hoping history repeats itself. CMS goes to play UChicago away. That was the team that beat them in the 3rd game of the season last year, giving them their first loss of the year. It's almost destiny for the Panthers.
CMS, the top team in Southern California from 2017 to 2019. Lauren Uhr, back-to-back Coach of the Year in 17 and 18. But ever since, it's been Pomona Pitzer under the guidance of Sarah Queener, who've taken the crown from their cross-street rivals out at the Claremont Pomona colleges.
Yeah, all Chapman wants to do is just get in that race, get involved, be a competitor. Of course, they just want to make the playoffs. They missed it last season. I think on a big stage, this team and the energy that they have can really put up a fight against both Pomona Pitzer and CMS.
Only 6 teams left in the SCIAC after Whittier suspended their season right before the beginning of this year. And another turnover caused by the Panthers gives them some extra life. A race up ahead, Ada Carr blazes past everyone. The trailer back inside and a big stop from Lila Johnston. And they'll call it a reset. The CMS netminder comes up huge. It looked like Chapman had the equalizer in their sights. Sloan Cooper lobs it for Seidel. She's connected 4 times so far. Out for Conti. Mackey turns, fades, and cannot connect. Still with CMS as Minturn was closest one to it. Final 4:45 in this third quarter. Minturn shakes, bakes. Seidel from the bottom of the crease. Inside feed, Ulmer has her third.
Chapman able to force the bad shot, a little off target on that first one. Then the second chance, just a beautiful feed. Threw off the freshman goalkeeper. And another hat trick. Seems common for CMS. Couple hat tricks a game. Everybody knows how to score on this attacking front.
First team All-SCIAC last year. Led the team with 47 goals, coming off a 7-point performance against Bates to lead the way in that victory. Now CMS back in control with that 2-goal cushion.
2 goals, still well within breathing distance from Chapman. They're going to get a talking to from their head coach, Delaney Benson, about how they can make up this difference. I think it's going to come right back down to finding control like they're trying to do right now.
Kearney having her successes, it'll stick with CMS. After the draw, however, Julia Ryan, that flip up to herself that she had in the first half simply hasn't been there to the same success here in the third.
I mean, you just got to hope that something throws her off, whether it's the heat getting late in this game, anything to just let the Panthers have a couple more possessions to cut into this lead.
Seidel shuffles. The inside feed, the inside whip. Summer Matzik shining through here to put CMS up by 3.
Late game runs. I know CMS struggled late against Bates. Chapman's just able to do something before the end of the quarter. CMS, an unstoppable freight train of talent. People from around California come out to watch this team, and top recruits want to be part of a winning culture that CMS has built over the last 10 years.
The Athenas now cruising once again. Back-to-back goals, and this is where we saw them go on that run in the second quarter when they were able to get unanswered goals once again. Disappointed look for Cam Gabrian. Georgia Geegan back into the game to take the draw against Julia Ryan. When you take out Liv Kearney, it seems like Julia Ryan back to business for her.
Could not agree more. Just have to hope, like I said before, something changes. The CMS offense begins to slow down. This is where they thrive the most.
Matzik, an inside feed for Mihara. And scooped up and taken away. Here comes Zoe Stevens. Ball out in front, now controls. And a foul in transition allows the Panthers to reset. That reset does not go to plan as it's now chaos down on the far side. Covarrubias, former Rookie of the Year 2 years ago. Gives Chapman the opportunity to find the back of the net here with 2:45 left in this third quarter.
Each of these positions is absolutely critical. You don't get opportunities like this against CMS being in attacking position like they are. Chapman has been able to capitalize, just has to do it one more time.
Yet another clear out, this time for Zoe Stevens. Last time the Panthers had this, they got it to Maddie Escobar. Stevens denied. What a save there from Lila Johnston, the senior. Minturn, the move inside, Ulmer left alone. The rip of the rope puts CMS up by 4.
That was just fast break masterclass. Able to throw off, then the turnaround. Exactly the right pass. Chapman defense just has to be on that. Cannot let anybody stay open at that 5-meter mark because it's just going to be automatic. That's too much weight for your freshman goalkeeper to take on. Here's the timeout incoming.
Minute 56 in this third quarter. CMS starting to pour it on like they did in the second quarter. For the Panthers down there, Delaney Benson, as you just mentioned, Holden, taking timeout. They've been in similar situations in this game, but obviously a lot less clock to work with. What do you think the offense needs to do to find that rhythm once more?
Well, of course. I mean, CMS was up 4 points earlier. Chapman able to dig in that lead. I think at this point, just got to keep energy up. You have a full 16 minutes left of lacrosse. Cannot let the CMS team get in your head. Done such a good job getting the right turnovers. You just got to do what Bates couldn't do, and that's close it out. Be able to put up some late goals, control possessions. Chapman down 4. Nothing out of reach. I'll say it for every D3 sport. When there's time on the clock, there's always a chance to win.
Last look at Amelia Ulmer slotting it home. Second time today that CMS has led by 4. Panthers to begin this third clawed their way all the way back and tied this game up at 10 apiece, but a 4-0 run from the Athenas has turned this game on its head once more. Nico Schwegler, Holden Buckley, Anna Zeminski on the sidelines. Thanks for being in store with us this Saturday. First game of the season for Chapman, first road game for CMS. And so far, it's been a back-and-forth battle, a lot closer than what these teams have had in the past.
Absolutely. Chapman, even if they lose this one at home, just have to be happy with the production that you've seen from some of these younger players. And of course, you have to use this momentum going into your game against Pomona Pitzer, one of the hardest starts Chapman could have imagined. Going against another top SCIAC team this Wednesday, the 25th.
Will not get any easier for the Panthers going against the 4-time back-to-back SCIAC defending champs. They get a draw control here to try and get some momentum heading into the final frame. Ava Reagan, a quiet season debut for her. Here's Ada Carr. Hewitt. Starting lineup out there on the attacking end for Chapman.
"55 seconds to work with for the Panthers. A little over a minute left on clock. It's interesting to see if Chapman's going to try to kill the rest of this clock, force CMS into a tight scenario.
Inside feed, Ada Carr delivers. Lead back down to 3 for CMS, and the Panthers finding a way to linger around once again to close out the third.
Lingering indeed. I feel like we're seeing this all over again. Closing quarters. Chapman has done a great job putting them up. Just another beautiful feed inside. Chapman 3 points away from breaking 10 years of heartbreak. 2016, the last time the Panthers were able to upset CMS. You gotta think, 10 years ago, some of these seniors that were on that roster are probably in their 30s now.
Oh,
It's crazy
makes you really
to think
about time.
Yeah, 10 years passes pretty quickly. But I'm sure those CMS Chapman alums will look back on games like these.
Ada Carr with her second of the game. Julia Ryan back to business for her on the draw. CMS, final 45 seconds of this third. Try to claim that last goal back and restore the 4-goal lead. Conti. Kicked out for Lewison. Seidel, blocked by Gabrian. 4 goals for the former Panther, Ella Seidel. But the freshman transfer comes up big to close out the third. Still 20 seconds left for CMS.
Seidel getting challenged well. A lot of defensive switches that we're seeing from Chapman. Doing a great job throwing off this CMS team with only a couple seconds left on the clock.
And we'll get a stoppage. There is a water polo game happening at Z All Red Aquatic Center. We do see a horn down there. I'm not sure if that horn was meant for this game or if it was for the water polo game behind us. However, a bit of confusion in the final 6.5 seconds. Not much time to operate, but if you're CMS, how do you find that goal to go in with momentum heading into the fourth?
I mean, quick pass inside. It's worked for them a lot of the time tonight. This morning. Something quick inside. Big throw. Try to throw off goalkeeper Gabriel.
Grace Minturn, 2 goals in that first half. Stumped so far in this third. Paige Scheid got her first goal against CMS of her career earlier in this frame. As they'll make it actually 10.5 seconds left on the clock. A little bit more to operate for Minturn. Closer to midfield.
Suffocation from this Chapman defense.
And the zigzags is how we'll end out the third quarter. CMS a big run to put them up by 4. Chapman claims one back. A 14-11 lead for the Athenas. Still within reach for Chapman, however, CMS in the driver's seat.
Absolutely within reach. We saw CMS struggle in their final quarter. Perfect for Chapman to try to put up a couple more goals, tie this game up, and who will rise to the occasion? Our key players performing well on both ends. Maddie Escobar and Tate Scheid. And then on the Athena's side, Ella Seidel, 4 goals against her former team. We'll be talking about her till the end of the game. Wondrous work from the former Panther.
Chapman's season opener has the makings of a classic. CMS up 14-11. Don't go anywhere. Fourth quarter coming up on CSBN.
a title. No time to idle. I'm finna get it, put that on a Bible. This is survival.
CMS up 14-11, heading into the final frame. The first road game of the year for the Athenas. Home opener, season opener for Chapman after their first game against Redlands on Wednesday was rained out. Nico Schwegler alongside Holden Buckley. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Chapman Sports Broadcast Network. If you're Chapman, you're down by 3 right now, 14-11 the score. What are you looking for to begin this fourth quarter to make this one certainly a bit more interesting, as we've seen it been all game long?
You've been able to pull a couple draws away from Julia Ryan, too. I'd like to see a couple more in the fourth, just getting involved in the center circle. And Julia Ryan feels automatic for her. Have to start getting turnovers as this quarter off and away.
17 turnovers against CMS so far, 10 caused by the Panthers. Big reason why Chapman has been able to stay in this game for as long as they have. And a turnover against CMS once again, starting to stockpile here. And the break is on for Zoe Stevens. Reagan to her left. Stevens takes it alone. Zoe Stevens, the bounce shot just goes beyond. Scooped up by Ada Carr.
That was the 10th caused turnover for the Panthers. Dominance, taking away the hard effort by Julia Ryan from the draw. Chapman could put themselves in tying position. They can get a couple more in the back of the net.
Reagan, a double team comes to meet. Sloan Cooper now tattooed on her. Scheid provides an outlet. Stevens blocked by one, and a big save from Lila Johnston. And finally scooped up by the senior netminder for CMS.
Johnston, her 9th save. Stepping up in the first away game of the season. It's always harder to play goalkeeper in any sport when it's your first away game, as Chapman in open lane.
Reagan, room to run. Carr from the backside fires it up and over. That was actually Anna Barton, the freshman. Looked for her second career goal, has 2 points already. And that missed shot certainly could come back to haunt the Panthers, knowing the transition game that they've had to begin this fourth quarter already, just 2.5 minutes in.
Yeah, that shot just a little high. Unfortunate with that fast break, open lane that Chapman found themselves in. Still a 3-point game benefiting the Athenas.
Sloan Cooper digs it out. A flip up for Goldson. Ryan. Goldson behind the cage. Now with Brown. Seidel leads the way with 4 goals for CMS so far today. Seidel, Salsas. Inside feed for Ryan. Panthers defense unrelenting here in this fourth quarter. And they cause yet another turnover. This Chapman defense coming to play in the season opener.
Chapman just broke up that beautiful ball movement. I thought any of those attackers could score pretty much at any second there. Chapman able to end that possession nice and early. Another chance to bring this game a bit closer as the pass goes high.
Some of these miscues starting to pile up for the Panthers here in the fourth. A few good looks in transition. The Athena's defense, a very solid start as Brooke Bernstein nearly came away with it. Does in the end, it's a 2-on-2. Can anyone get a handle on it? And finally taken down by Mara.
I thought Bernstein was just gonna take that one to the net. Too bad you couldn't hold on to it. CMS unrelenting in the middle of the field, trying to make up any mistake. How they've built a winning culture over the last couple of years.
Ulmer has a hat trick so far. In for Larson, taken down, and a free position coming up, and CMS with a chance to take first blood here in the fourth. Kate Larson, sophomore out of Newton, Massachusetts. Third on the team last year in points with 49. Already off to a hot start, including 2 goals so far today. Larson lets it rip. Off the post and out. The scoop from Minturn. It's a bullseye. CMS fired up by 4, and the bench is loving it too.
Number 7, Grace Midturn, putting it in the back of the net. CMS one step closer to edging out this one in their first away game of the year.
Minturn makes it 3 on the day for her. 2024 SCIAC Player of the Year coming out of Corte Madera. Just about 30-ish minutes north of San Francisco. What a player she's been for CMS, ever arriving on campus. And the class that they have, her senior class, the junior class they have, just every single class that they have feels like they're producing star after star after star.
Yeah, it feels like it's impossible to go wrong with a lot of the starters and bench pieces on CMS. Built their team from the ground up. Clearly benefits them in close games like these. Be curious to see if Ulmer or Seidel be able to get their 5th goal of the afternoon. Ulmer, first team SCIAC last season. Another bright spot for this CMS team. Wasn't featured in our pregame show. She's put up 4 goals so far today, along with her counterpart Ella Seidel, the former Panther.
Green card issued to Ada Carr. Means a power play coming up for CMS with a chance to extend to their largest lead of the game. Led by 4 in the second. Up 8-4, the Panthers clawed their way all the way back. Tied it up at 10 apiece. Ever since. 14-10 lead for CMS. Both teams trading goals to make it 15-11 where we stand. Matzik. Minturn. A rip from Mackey. Gabrian in the goal once more with a big save. It's been an up and down debut for her. However, some glimpses of promise from the freshman transfer.
Absolutely. Gabrian bunted that ball away. Now Chapman set up. Have to put something on the board here soon. 8 minutes 30 on the clock. Got to employ some of this clever CMS ball movement that we've been seeing. Chapman just has to match their pace.
Bernstein. Whipped out to the wing for Anna Barton. Escobar, talk about efficiency. 5 shots, 5 goals for the junior to begin this season.
Maddie Escobar, a leader in all senses of the word. Done so much for this team.
For the first time today, one of her shots goes off. Still with Chapman. Over half of this 4th quarter removed. Reagan resets. Ava Reagan, bit of breathing room. And just beyond the left post once again, still with Chapman as Anna Barton can come to collect. Panthers still down by 4. They've been in this position before, however, much more time on their side compared to 7:28 left on the clock like it is now.
For Chapman, I just want to see them put some players a little bit closer to that crease. We've seen it work a couple times for Chapman. Those quick turnarounds, quick passes inside. That's how you throw off
Play clock violation and CMS
an
call.
experienced goalkeeper.
Shot clock violation. You don't see many of those in lacrosse. However, the Panthers using all 90 seconds of that possession to not come away with anything.
Yeah, last thing you want with only 7 minutes left on the game clock.
Ava Reagan in transition gets called for the crime.
Green card issued to Chapman's number
And a green card issued, the third of the game
46, Ava
on
Reagan,
Chapman thus
for
far.
illegal use of the stick. The 1 minute releasable penalty and the time of the card is 7:02.
CMS just wanting to put in the dagger. Could be Ella Seidel. Probably want to see her get the ball. Score a fifth against her former team.
The yard deflected on the way inside. Back out for Larson. Matzik. Minturn. Matzik down to 60 left on the shot clock. CMS playing at their own pace.
Gonna try to kill as much of this clock as possible. CMS almost loses it there.
Minturn makes her move. Forced to the outside. We'll get a brief stoppage down on the field. This time, a yellow card coming out of the pocket. That's a big one against Presley Pewitt. Also means that Chapman now completely undermanned as Minturn gets a free position to give CMS their largest lead of the game.
It's make or break for the Chapman Panthers on this possession. CMS make it a 5-score lead.
Yellow card's been issued to Chapman's number 19.
First
Presley
yellow
Pewitt.
card of the game
It's a non-releasable
goes to
penalty
one of those
and
10
time
new
is 60.
freshmen. Presley Pewitt got her first career goal in the first half. But her card here in the fourth, a costly one for Chapman.
It's all about working out the kinks this early in the season. You have a lot with a big freshman class like Chapman does.
Minturn lays it off for Matzik. And an interesting choice there. We'll see. Yet another free position coming up. CMS clearly trying to play with the numbers game that they have right now.
Feels like it's all just piling up in favor of CMS. Seems like it's inevitable. CMS will come away with something on this possession.
Matzik from the hash. Matzik finds Twine. CMS with their largest lead of the game. And it's 16-11 here in the fourth.
Yeah, down a man. Sort of not much went right for the Chapman Panthers. And of course, CMS able to kill plenty of clock. One step closer to beating the Panthers, but a new look Panthers offense and defense, bunch of new faces.
CMS goals
You have to be happy with most of the production that you've seen. Put up far more of a fight than Calou. Bates, solid team over on the East Coast. Almost better than they have. They lost 4 against CMS, and it seems like CMS is overdue for a chance to really compete in the SCIAC. I mean, they have all the tools at their disposal. They control the game, and you've seen solid goalkeeping. About 10 saves from their goalkeeper, and then, of course, Julia Ryan controls the game. The CMS team just does so much right. Those Pomona-Pitzer CMS games going to prove crucial in this final playoff seeding. Is this one nearing a close with 5 minutes and 30 on the clock.
CMS past 3 seasons, if we take a look at their history, 3 straight second place finishes. You go back to 2021 as well. Might as well add a second place finish in that one. 2 conference losses in each of them. I wonder who those 2 conference losses were. Always Pomona-Pitzer causing some problems across the street, let's say. Maybe not the nicest next door neighbor.
10 years ago, you know what I would have said? I would have said first is the worst, second is the best. CMS trying to emerge take that first place spot back. Of course, 10 years ago, last time the Panthers were able to beat CMS.
Reagan. Back out there for Scheid. So far, a quiet game for her once again. CMS always plays her well, despite scoring her first career goal against the Athenas in this one.
Now you're seeing some of this really intense pressure. CMS just forcing Chapman to kill more clock. Solid game plan.
Bernstein puts it through. Panthers back down by 4 with 4 minutes left to go.
Bernstein just really snuck that one through. I was watching it release from her stick, just looking at this replay. I mean, it just squeezed by that left post. It's one of those ones that you got to shrug off as a goalkeeper, and Chapman within 4 minutes on the clock. 4 goals in 4 minutes. I've seen crazier. Still a lot of work for the Panthers.
Brooke Bernstein trying to crank that energy up. Here at Wilson Field, Panthers still down by 4. CMS leads 16-12.
Now you just got to win a draw. Not an easy task.
Liv Kearney, high pressure moments for the freshman. She had the most success against Julia Ryan in that third quarter. And almost comes away with it. Kate Lewison to the rescue for CMS.
Game to keep away for CMS. Some vocals coming out of the Chapman bench. It's Chapman's possession here.
Bit of confusion down on that sideline. Looked like Reagan might have got a tip on it. That's why CMS, that entire sideline, including Lauren Uhr, was pleading for the referee to reverse that call. Potentially a big one here as the Panthers try to pull this lead back within 3. 3:30 left in this fourth. Panthers have not won against CMS since 2016. Scheid has it dislodged, picked up by Barton for the moment.
It's just popcorn.
Still anyone's ball, finally scooped up by Zoe Stevens. Carr
Just has to up the pace here. It's not time to kill clock. You have to find a way to put this in and then of course get the ball back.
Stevens squeaks it through. Still a little bit of life for the Panthers as they're down by 3 in the fourth.
3 goals, 2 minutes 30. Tall task. Wow, this Chapman Panthers team already showing resilience. Thought that possession could have been over, and that ball popcorned around for about 15 seconds. Those were 2 balls that just really were able to squeak past number 33, Chapman. A little bit more breathing room. And a close game this afternoon.
Optimistic smiles from that bench. Kate Lewison, first team All-SCIAC, her first 2 years in the conference. Looks to get done with business and keep CMS undefeated in this season. I mean, even if the Panthers don't come away with the win here today, if you're Delaney Benson, especially in this fourth quarter, you have to be pleased with the resilience this team has shown, despite going down by as many as 5.
Yeah, and this will be one of the closer ones in this CMS Chapman rivalry. Yeah, Delaney Benson has to be happy with what she's seeing, especially just from her attackers. I mean, this defense still has some stuff to work on, especially when other teams get into attacking position. But this offense, I mean, the new look, clearly a lot of right fits for this Chapman Panthers team. A solid history as CMS puts another one in.
Big time goal once more, and that might be the dagger here in orange. All smiles from CMS. Grace Minturn makes the money move once again.
CMS goals for number 7, Grace Minter.
Grace Minturn, right point at the right time. Just wanted to silence any sort of Chapman hope to come back with a miracle. At a minute 37, both teams gonna slow it down as this one comes to a close.
Minute 48 left on the clock, as you were saying, Olden.
I was just gonna talk about Lauren 11th consecutive year as head coach. She has to be happy with how this CMS team has broken the curse. Like you mentioned earlier, lost the 3rd game of the season in the past couple seasons, and now winning it against a division rival has to feel good.
Kearney and Ryan once more. Cleaned up by Zoe Stevens. Big positive there for Delaney Benson, knowing that Liv Kearney holding her own against arguably the best draw master in the entire country. Has to be a good sign for Chapman on the horizon heading into the rest of this season. They'll reset with Ava Reagan.
And now for CMS, it's just all about playing it one game at a time. You have a lot of season left. You tend to not drop games, but it's all in preparation for the playoffs. You've been there before, you know what it feels like. Have to make something happen, especially against Pomona Pitzer, right across the street. Those regular season games are going to be absolutely electric.
Coming back the other way. CMS a chance to put this one well and truly to bed with 45 seconds left in this one.
That's when you start to get into, do I take a shot at goal? Do I let the clock run out? Just one of those things about what's fair to do at the end of a game. It's Chapman able to poke it away. Ball still in the hands of CMS. Could we be looking at a last second goal? Gonna reset it back. Clock sitting at 15 seconds.
Ella Seidel, 7 points today against her former squad. An explosion of offense from her and Grace Minturn, who combined for 13 points, equal to Chapman's effort on the offensive end. Larson at the horn, does not go either way. CMS, a 4-point win on the road to kick off their road schedule. And Ella Seidel, all smiles against her former team. The Athenas, a commanding win to begin 2026 away from home.
Just have to be so happy with how this Chapman team showed resilience, and for CMS, just feels like every week they're able to show up and show out in big moments, closing down drives, and this team just continuing their winning ways, and especially winning ways here at Wilson Field, able to capitalize away and win this one.
Absolutely. When they go on the next game, when they take on Chicago, obviously you mentioned earlier they probably have that game circled now that they've taken care of business here. How do you get over the hump of one of those top teams within the country?
Well, luckily you have a week to prepare, so you use that time. You have a lot of tape on U Chicago, especially from last year. You can use that as sort of poster board material, and then of course you just have to rely on some of these attackers. I mean, so many players have done so much work for you, and you rely on your goal scorers. Some of our key players from today, those attackers going to be the make or break in that one. Of course, U Chicago won that one last year at CMS 13-6. Maybe they'll do it again.
We'll see indeed. Meanwhile, for Chapman on the other side, they take on Pomona Pitzer on Wednesday, 4-time defending champions of the SCIAC, and it's a team. We mentioned that Chapman hasn't beaten CMS since 2016. They have not taken down Pomona Pitzer since 2013. My goodness, that's a long losing streak. How did they finally contend after a bunch of promising signs here today?
I mean, for each of these games, 13 years, such a long time to be in these losing streaks. You have to start looking at how you put in new players, try something different, because clearly 13 years of losing, you just have to think about how you can be resilient as a team, because that's unacceptable as a program. But I think one of these days, these freshmen are going to rise to the occasion, take down some of these teams, and prove that they can be formidable opponents in the SCIAC.
Absolutely. As we go down towards the field, Anna Zeminski with the MVP of the game, former Panther, current Athena, Ella Seidel.
All right, I'm here on the sideline with CMS MVP number 19, Ella Seidel. Now, you're the top scorer. You're the top scorer for your team today. Was there a goal or moment that you think really locked in the win for you guys today?
I think we just had to turn around our energy, and just being around each other and hyping each other up was how we turned it around and just kept each other going and not get down on ourselves.
Great. Now, you guys are on a winning streak so far this season. What's your mentality going to the rest of the season?
I think just trying to keep the energy high and keep the intensity high at practice, and just knowing that every day we're out there to make each other better and keep grinding.
Perfect. Thank you, and congrats on your win. Holden and Nico, back up to you guys.
Four goals, 3 assists. And this CMS Athena squad has to be pleased with the way that she played against her former squad, the catalyst of the offense, to get this win.
And that's where I saw the biggest change in CMS from that first half to the second half, as I started to see more energy on their bench. I think they like playing a little bit closer games because it means they're able to hype each other up a bit more. And I was just looking at that CMS bench during that first half. It just seemed like they were a little tired. It's an early morning, but CMS was able to rise to the occasion. Ella Seidel hyping up her teammates. It's an unselfish sport and an unselfish player in Ella Seidel.
CMS, as we take a look at some of the big moments from this game, Chapman kept it close, a lot closer than we thought, 3-3 at the end of the first quarter. However, it was CMS that would be able to pull away. Chapman kept on clawing their way back. However, that lead, just too much to overcome for Delaney Benson and this team.
And I think we just saw Chapman just fail to take the ball away like we thought they would do so well in that fourth. And CMS is coming up huge, really. This offense just knows how to put up goals. Put up 17 in this one. A couple weeks ago, put up 23 against Cal Lou. Put up 19 against one of the previous teams, and Chapman coming away with it here. Coming and losing against the CMS Stags. Athenas, pardon.
The Athenas with a big 17-13 win here in Orange to kick off their road campaign to begin 2026. Year 3 of the Delaney Benson era starts off with a loss. It doesn't get any easier with Pomona Pitzer coming to town on Wednesday. However, that'll do it for us here at CSBN. So for our producer, Aubrey Veyu, our director, Violet Goody, my partner in crime, Holden Buckley, I'm Nico Schwegler saying 17, Chapman 13. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time on CSBN.